In the wake of the Charleston massacre in June 2015, 7 black churches have been engulfed by flames across the South. So why isn't the news media talking about this? Take a guess. Although the United States has a long and complicated history with racism, talking about our nation's past and how it affects the present is still seen as taboo. After Dylann Roof opened fire in Charleston's oldest black church, killing 9 people, news media seemed determined to label him as mentally ill, or a lone wolf, or a troubled kid, instead of looking at how racism played a role in his terrible crime. Even after his racist ramblings were discovered online, many refused to acknowledge that his actions were indeed motivated by racism. Now, only a few weeks later, at least 7 black churches in the South have been burned down. But if you look at this week's major news headlines, the 7 church fires are noticeably absent. Let's contrast that to the almost 24-hour news coverage of a burning CVS during Baltimore's police brutality protest in April 2015. While violence and destruction are never a good thing, it's clear that our media is very calculated when it comes to what they report and how. White sports fans looting and rioting are labeled as rowdy, while black protesters are called criminals and animals. White suspects and even confessed killers like Dylann Roof are often humanized with childhood photos and interviews with family and friends. And despite killing 9 innocent people, the label of terrorist seems to be reserved almost exclusively for suspects of color. So far, it's only been determined that 3 of the 7 church fires were a result of arson. But make no mistake, these are acts of terrorism, plain and simple. In fact, since 2001, white supremacists and anti-government radicals have killed more Americans on US soil than Muslim radicals. The Charleston shooting at Emmanuel AME Church and the 7 church fires that followed are not random. They're part of a long history of white supremacists targeting black churches, going back to slavery, Jim Crow, and the civil rights movement. Churches are traditionally community safe spaces, so attacking them essentially says, no place is safe. That's an act of terror, and erasing the history and motivations behind these crimes doesn't do any good. We have to talk about these crimes and how racism played a role in order to keep them from happening again. So what do you think? Why are we so hesitant to label these acts as terrorism? Tell us in the comments, and we will see you next week.